What is this metal item with the inscription 6 Juin 1944 and Débarquement des Allies? I found this item and was curious because of the date on it. There is a small hole where something may go through, but I am having trouble trying to figure out what it was used for. Approximately 1 by 1 by 3 inches, I'm guessing a holder of something, but I'm not sure what. Any idea what it could be for? It's a reproduction D-Day cricket, used by the American paratroopers during the invasion of Normandy. After the parachute over Sicily in 1943, Major Maxwell Taylor, the future commander of the 101st American Airborne Division, realized the importance of communication within the parachuted units in enemy territory. Isolated parachutists had difficulty in finding their comrades without risking to expose themselves to the enemy fire. The solution was to create something that could easily help soldiers identify each other. So what they did was they reused the principle of a toy widespread at the time. Originally, this thing was the shape of a cricket. That's where it got the name, but they made it to this shape. You squeeze the open end, which produces a loud click. 1 click was to be answered by 2. That way they had a little communication system of finding each other after they jumped out of the airplane. These were manufactured by J. Hudson and Company Limited of Birmingham, England. Nowadays, many reproductions have been produced and can be purchased online. This object consists of a wood base with a rectangular metal piece attached by 2 screws. There are various holes and grooves in the metal piece. There are also 4 metal pins in a diamond pattern in holes on the base. The object is approximately 7 3/4 inches long. The age of the item is unknown, but is probably at least 15 to 20 years old. It seems possible that the metal parts were purchased without the base, and that the original owner installed them on the base. What is this thing? It's a Lester Handy Bender, a wire-bending jig made in Cleveland, Ohio. An identical one was in my father's shop in the mid-70s, but you can still buy them today. Isn't it amazing how a well-designed product can still be sold for so long without a change? What is this small wooden box with air vents and compartments found at a second-hand store? It has dovetail edges and is about 30 by 20 by 20 centimeters or 12 by 7 by 7 inches. It has little feet with 2 vents on the bottom side, 1 vent on the front, and 1 vent on the back. There are small drill holes on the lid that gives the impression it used to have a carry handle. The inside has 2 compartments with 2 drill holes in the wall between them. It's not just a wooden box, because of the curious placement of 4 vents on the right-hand side of the box and the asymmetrical 2 compartments inside the box. It also has braided cotton on the edges of the interior compartments. But what is it and what was it used for? It's the box from a vintage frequency meter made by A.J. William Electrical Instruments in Melbourne, Australia in the 1950s. This meter would have been used for testing aircraft power systems that include 400 Hz, 115 VAC, the higher frequency, allowing weight to be saved on transformers and inductors. This was at the door of my house. It looks like a calendar, but I don't know what it is. Should I be worried about witchcraft? Thank you. It's a nocturnal, an instrument used in the past by navigators to determine the time during the night hours, based on the position of a star in the night sky relative to the pole star. Place the hour circle on the date, take the nocturnal, and point the North Star through the central hole. Align your arm parallel to the alpha and beta stars of the Big Dipper, and read the time indicated by the arm on the inner circle. I'm going through some of my grandmother's things and came across this picture. It appears to be some sort of blimp. Any insight on what it is and when this picture might have been taken? Thanks in advance. It's a barrage balloon designed by the British military to tackle the German Stuka dive bombers. A Stuka is a low-wing single-engine monoplane designed to dive in on the target at a steep angle and release the bomb at low altitudes for maximum accuracy before pulling up. To counter this, the British military designed a low-budget solution to tackle these dive bombers. The anti-aircraft gun's effective range is around 23,000 feet. The Stuka dive bombers would fly very low to strike the Allied targets in order to avoid the anti-aircraft guns. This forces the bombers and fighters to fly at an effective range or higher altitude of these guns, making them very vulnerable. The barrage balloons are joined by high-strength cables, attached with a bomb linked to a small parachute. When the plane strikes the cable, the link cuts the cable and releases the parachute. The bomb is then dragged onto the plane and detonates. This simple yet effective method in 1940 was responsible for 102 aircraft crashes in the cables, resulting in 66 crashed or forced landings. What is this wooden hammer-shaped rolling pin tool? The top part rolls easily, but is a little unstable, likely wear and tear in combination with age. My parents found it at a flea market, and I have no idea what it is or what it's for. I don't know how old it is either, but it is definitely old and estimated to be hand-carved. We have several wild theories. Most ridiculous though, so I hope someone can settle this for us and tell us what it is. In case it's somehow relevant, we are Swedes. It's part of an old Swedish berry press, missing the pierced stainless steel sieve, dating to around 1900 to 1910. These juicers were used all over the Scandinavian region during summer and autumn, when soft fruits and berries were plentiful but needed to be preserved for winter. Does anyone know what this is? It looks like a solid nut with a farthing on each side. It's hollow and has something metal rattling inside, but I can't see what it is. It has 2 holes drilled in it. Any ideas? It's a World War II British military trench art cigarette lighter, missing some parts. It is made of a large brass nut, or from a large piece of military equipment, maybe from an aircraft, with King George VI penny on one side, and a 1943 British farthing on the other. What is this old piece of farm equipment? It's clearly horse-drawn in the front and stabilized by a worker in the back. The metal bit above the saw teeth rotates on a hinge. It doesn't displace enough dirt to be solely a plow. Any ideas are appreciated. It's a horse-drawn ice plow from the turn of the last century. Patented July 13, 1875 by Rodman W. Sanborn of Rochester, New York. It was used to cut grooves into the ice to create a grid. Each tooth of the plow was set to cut 1/4 inch deeper than the one in front of it. Consequently, one trip with an 8-tooth plow would deepen a groove by 2 inches. Multiple trips by 2 plows could deepen the grooves to 7 inches, sufficiently deep for 12-inch ice, the most common cut for retail trade. A relative was cleaning out a World War II vet's house, and this was with other war memorabilia. Around 7 inches long, made of wood with a metal ring around it, and came with a pouch. What the heck is it? Please tell us down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Let's make life fun.